Playing dumb prove you're actually smart. Our girls lacrosse team had never made it past regionals, but this year felt different. We were undefeated, sharper than we'd ever been, and one win away from the state championship. All we had to do was beat our rival school, a team that hadn't lost a final in 6 years. Their coach, Mr. Carmichael, used to coach college lacrosse, but had mysteriously been fired and quietly hired by a school desperate for wins. We even knew about his reputation over at our school for being a complete hard ass and making his players cry all the time. 3 days before the championship, my best friend and assistant captain Harper came to practice with her hands shaking. She told us that someone had broken into her locker and stolen the team playbook. As team captain, it was my job to reassure her, and luckily I got to tell her the truth. This was exactly what I'd been hoping would happen. You see, our coach had warned me months ago that back in his college job, Carmichael had been accused of stealing plays from opposing teams. So way back then, I'd come up with a plan. I created a second play binder that looked identical to the real one, but every single play in it was flawed in a way that wasn't obvious, but would be very exciting for a coach who thought he could use these to crack us like a code. The actual playbook was locked up in my house. I'd used Harper as the decoy. Sorry, girl. Once I told her the truth, she was just psyched no one was going to be mad at her, but I couldn't wait to see Coach Carmichael's downfall. When we walked onto the field that Saturday, the stadium was packed. I could see Carmichael watching us warm up with that awful smirk he always wore. In our warm-up huddle, I asked my team to trust me no matter what, and they agreed. During the first quarter, we played exactly like the stolen playbook said we would, and the other team cut us off at every turn. I could hear parents behind me yelling to switch up the strategy. One of our teachers actually asked if we had practiced at all, but my team trusted me. We stayed on script through the second quarter too. Every mistake was intentional, but it still hurt to see that scoreboard. I glanced at Carmichael across the field, and he looked like he'd already started celebrating. At halftime, Coach Val gathered us in a circle. She looked every one of us in the eyes and said, "It's time to show them what happens when you cheat." When the third quarter started, we abandoned every fake play. We ran our real offense with precision. Suddenly, we were showing our real moves, fast, focused, and completely unpredictable. The other players didn't know where to go and started completely falling apart. By the end of the third quarter, we had tied the score. Carmichael looked furious. He started pacing so hard his visor almost flew off. I heard him scream, "That wasn't in the damn binder." He called a timeout and screamed at his players so loudly the entire stadium could hear him. "You are making me look like a clown," he shouted. "If I find out any of you gave me the dollar store version of their offense, I will bench every single one of you until your grandchildren graduate." The final score was 17-9. We didn't just win, we humiliated them. After the game, Carmichael stormed across the field right towards me. His face was purple and he pointed his finger in my face and screamed, "You think this is clever? You think this was some cute little prank?" Coach Val stepped right in between us and said, "Carmichael, I'm going to ask you one time and one time only to step away from my star player." Carmichael exploded and yelled, "Fine, enjoy your plastic trophy. One day you'll all be working at gas stations with torn ACLs, crying into a bag of Funyuns, wondering why this day was the peak of your pathetic lives." We all stared at him like he'd lost his mind, and Harper said, "At least if I'm working in a gas station, I'll be too busy to humiliate myself in front of a bunch of teenage girls."